5 of Tough Bumps. My name is Matt Connerton, and of course, my partner in crime in this venture, all the way from the great state of Iowa, is Eric Pilcher. Hello, Eric.
Hello, Matt.
I do want to say right up front, congratulations on your new column at
Thank you.
pilcherspoint.com. Very happy to see you get that up and running again. And was this the first new column, the one about Bret Hart?
No, there was one before that about the college football playoff,
Oh,
and
yes. I probably saw that one and just
yeah,
didn't even
sports
register in
ball,
my
Matt.
brain. What's a sports ball? Yes. Yes. Um, so yeah, so congratulations on the new column. I do want to ask you about it too. I mean, it's critical of Bret. And of course, for those who don't know, Bret's recent allegations against Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon, which we talked about on last week's show. I'm curious to ask you, was that difficult to write? Because obviously Bret Hart is your favorite wrestler of all time. He is my second favorite. But I give you credit for, you're someone who's never had, even if you like someone or if you're a fan of someone and you support them, you've never had a problem criticizing them when you
Right.
think they're making mistakes. You've always been very intellectually honest that way, which is something I admire about you because frankly, most people are not that way. But I'm curious, was it difficult for you to write that column?
Oh yes, it was very difficult. Because you have to sit there and differentiate,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to sit there and look at it from a non you can't look at it from a perspective of, oh, I looked up to this individual was a hero of mine, and
Mm-hmm.
all of this. You have to look at it as, here is a man that has a history of being bitter, but now the bitterness has went to a whole nother level.
Right. Yes. Bret Hart does have a history of being bitter, to put it mildly. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm glad you wrote the column. Did it, I'm curious how long it took. Like, is it something that, because I don't know anything about your process in terms of writing. Like, do
My
things come
process
easily or yeah, go ahead.
my process is really, I just sit and go. Just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't I type it out, and usually when I after I type it out, I have about 2 pages of double space content.
Okay.
And then I start condensing. Like, okay, this paragraph here and this paragraph here. I could put them together. Okay, this is like one blob of text. Now let's condense. So it's a process to get my point across as succinctly as possible. And then I run it when it gets to a point where I think it reads well, I run it through Grammarly
Okay.
and get rid of things that I might have missed or things that make it a little bit more concise
Okay. Okay.
and more direct. But I also have to be careful because I don't want to lose my voice in it.
Right. Exactly. No, that makes sense. Well, so the new column now, how often are you how often are you going to be posting things on
Right
Pilcher's
now,
Point?
it's about a once a week schedule.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna try to get up there a little bit more. Um,
Okay.
yeah, try to do 2 times a week, and but right now it's at 1 time a week.
Okay. Okay. Well, very good. Well, no, congratulations on that. That's excellent, and look forward to seeing more of what you post on there in the future. So very good, very good. Um, anything you want, and anything else you want people to know about Pilcher's Point? We do have some news, some sad news to talk about in a moment, but I don't know if
No, I mean, it's a great endeavor that
yeah,
I'm really excited about.
yeah,
Bret Hart was one of the harder things I had to write
yeah,
because you're being critical of someone you hold in such high regard,
right,
but you have to be fair,
yeah,
and you have even if as we have a guest that joins us briefly, you have to be fair and you
Yeah.
have to not let personal opinions get in the way of what's right.
Yeah, of course, of course. By the way, we are streaming the show live for anyone who wants to join in the chat room. Of course, we're streaming to Facebook and YouTube and various other platforms. I know most people get the show in the podcast version, and do please subscribe to Tough Bumps on your podcast platform of choice. And of course, if you are enjoying the show via YouTube, please like and subscribe. We do this, of course, typically on Sunday nights. I do still have the radio show, of course, on Saturdays. Saturday morning.
I heard you didn't.
I do actually. I do. In fact, and it's funny too. In terms of syndication, I heard from there's this internet station in Australia that reached out to me recently that
Really
carrying my show. Yeah, I don't know though. They kind of seem like fly by night. Like they'll just put anything on, like any Joker can get a show on there. So I'm not.
You don't want a part of that. You're too good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do
You're
it.
too good for that, man.
Absolutely, but we'll see. We'll see. It'd be kind of fun to be.
I mean, maybe your ratings could go true to roof.
Maybe they would. Maybe they would. I don't know. We'll see. But it's something to ponder. Well, I did reference some sad news, of course. And Eric, you're a dog owner, so I'm
Yes.
sure, I'm sure you would be very sad to have to deal with this. I hope you don't hope this doesn't happen. But let's see.
I mean, it will eventually.
It will eventually. Yes. Oh, for some reason, I'm having trouble adding the picture. Oh, here we go. So Larry the dog and CM Punk fans will be familiar with Larry the dog. Oh, here it is. I found the picture. I found a picture of here's the two of them together. CM Punk looking, boy, CM Punk looks rough in that picture. Actually, what's interesting about that picture is CM Punk and Larry the dog kind of look the same. They've got the same hair. But very, very sad news. Even probably very casual fans of CM Punk are familiar with Larry the dog, I would imagine, because Punk would often talk about him in interviews and in public appearances. You would often see Larry the dog with CM Punk and AJ Lee out in public. So that is very sad, very unfortunate. I don't know how old was Larry the dog? Do you know?
I do not. I remember reading a story about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go off pure recollection. I think he lived a full life.
Yeah.
I mean, but man, it was kind of weird watching Survivor Series, and Punk wore the jacket that said Larry's dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, Punk wore a jacket that said Larry's dad, and he clutched the chest of Larry's dad. So
now is Paul Heyman's talent agency or marketing agency is called Looking for Larry. Now, I don't know this, but does that relate to because I've never heard him explain where the name Looking for Larry comes from, but I've always kind of wondered, because obviously in real life, outside of wrestling, Paul Heyman and CM Punk are very, very close friends. And I just kind of imagine in my head, like Larry getting out of the house one day, getting lost, and then Punk and Heyman going together to search for him. And then maybe Heyman decided to call his agency Looking for Larry. Maybe it's a coincidence. That's just a story I've invented in my brain, but it does make sense if there's any truth to it.
I mean, I don't know. I've heard of Heyman's production company.
Yeah.
He does a lot of independent productions.
Yes.
But I think it would be more of, I don't know. Heyman does a lot of Easter eggs dedicated to friends.
Yeah, he does. That's why I wondered. I should have looked it up, but it didn't even occur to me until just now. I mean, I've always kind of wondered about that, but it didn't occur to me to look it up but I'd forgotten about CM Punk's dad passing away. So very, very sad. You know, I've never had a dog. I've only had cats, and Jenny and I have lost 2 cats now who both had gotten old and passed away, and it's a very sad thing. So I'm sure, but I'm sure they'll get another dog. But I know that CM Punk, apparently Larry, by the way, was a witness at Brawl Out.
Yes,
In
Larry
AEW.
was actually Larry broke a tooth
Yeah.
at Brawl Out. I forget who it was that kicked him. Somebody kicked him.
Yeah, not intentionally, of course, but somebody involved in the backstage investigation. Why, you think somebody kicked it? I don't think anyone would intentionally kick Larry.
I don't know.
I would hope not. Jeez, you got to be a monster to abuse an animal.
We should move on, because that whole situation is. I'm gonna be frank, because I'm in a little bit of a bad mood today.
Okay.
What the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Oh, Punk bringing Larry into the.
No, nothing to do with Larry.
Oh.
The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega going to go confront CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck, like, I never understood that. I get you're mad, but you are EVPs, if for nothing, title only.
Yeah. Well, nobody came out of that situation looking very good, in my opinion.
But the only one who's owned up to it and said, yeah, I screwed up is CM Punk.
True.
And that's totally unfair.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that'll be a good subject one of these weeks. It's not what we're doing this week.
Mean, I don't think we could do a whole episode on Brawl Out, because
easily, yeah.
I mean, it's just such a nuanced situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you okay? How come you're in a bad mood? You all right?
No, just sports ball, Matt.
Oh, that's why. Oh, okay.
Nothing serious.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad it's nothing serious. Okay. Well, should we move on from Larry?
Yeah, I get it. I've known people who've lost a dog.
Yeah.
Or a pet, and I just can't.
We have some happy news to report, of course. I'm sure most people know this already, but TNA Wrestling has a new television home beginning in January. They're going to be on AMC, which was originally the American Movie Channel. That's why it's called AMC. I don't know what it's actually called now. But that's that's where they're going, and very exciting. So they're going to be off of Access TV, and their new home is at is at AMC, which is definitely an upgrade. I don't even know. Well, Jenny and I don't have cable. We cut the cord a long time ago. I don't even know where you find Access TV, but
Access TV was actually Mark Cuban's network.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And he sold it, right?
He sold it. They're the ones who actually bought NJPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, to the United States. They had a weekly show.
Okay.
And they're the ones.
It's interesting to see, TNA, they've come a long way in a short time. Obviously, their association with WWE has helped facilitate this.
I don't know how this works.
What do you mean?
This does not fit AMC's product profile.
Well, I don't even know what their product profile is at this point, though.
I mean, they are a movie station that airs original programming.
Yeah, but so what? I mean, if you think about it, no matter where professional wrestling is, it never completely fits. In fact, I'll tell you this, even at ESPN, I know that seems like an obvious fit because it's sports related content, but I'll tell you what, I guarantee you there are people who go to work at ESPN every day who are not wrestling fans, who just go to work every day and think, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's cool. But I'm sure there are people who work there who don't like wrestling, who are like, why
I
are we
guarantee you
involved in
that's
this fake shit?
90% of the employees at AMC.
Well, no,
I
I'm saying at ESPN. I'm just using that as an example of how
no,
wrestling doesn't really fit
ESPN,
anywhere.
you gotta kind of understand the hierarchy here, Matt. ESPN is a corporate monster.
Right.
They don't care.
No, no,
AM
no. No, I'm just saying I'm sure there's individual employees there. The management doesn't care. They're making money. I'm just saying I'm sure there's employees in that building every day who are like, "Oh God, why are we doing this?" You know what I mean? Wrestling snuff.
I think it's more of an afterthought. It's just like it's content. And keep in mind it's content that ESPN isn't producing.
Right, right.
It's I mean, so really ESPN is just kind of a distributor of the major events.
Yeah. But the broader point I'm making too is that wrestling has always, like, I remember when Monday Night Raw left the USA Network for their 5-year stint on TNN, which became Spike TV
Right.
or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And then, but I remember whoever was running USA Network at that time saying something in an interview in one of the trades or something about, you know, it doesn't really help us because, yeah, wrestling gets good ratings compared to everything else on cable, but people show up to USA Network to watch the wrestling, and he made some snide remark about, and then as soon as that show's over, they don't stick around to watch our network. They go back to whatever other horrible pursuits they have in their lives. He was really speaking very in a defamatory way about the fan base that watches wrestling. So, it's, and obviously now, they eventually they went back to USA Network and have had a very fruitful relationship. But it just seems like there's nowhere that wrestling really fits in. When it was on, what was TNA was actually, I feel like TNA has been on a couple of different networks where,
TNA was on Fox Sports. Okay, let's go through a brief history of TNA.
yeah,
They had the weekly pay-per-views.
yeah,
Then they tried a disaster of a program on Fox Sports Net, which was
yeah,
absolutely awful,
yeah,
which was called, I think it was Impact, but it was absolutely awful. It was 1 hour. It was always preempted. It depended on which regional Fox Sports network you got when you saw it. Sometimes it aired at 2 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday.
oh wow.
Yeah, it just was awful.
So they
And
weren't the network obviously wasn't very committed to it.
well, it's hard for a regional sports network
Mm,
to to give anything to a national product that isn't professional sports
yeah,
because the regional sports networks are essentially there as advertisement for the pro sports teams
yeah,
that they cover. They do all this interterrestrial programming surrounding these teams in season.
yeah,
So if you have, let's say, I might be going into the woods here, and if I am, tell me and I'll stop. I live in Cedar Rapids. The Fox Sports Net we got was the Chicago Fox Sports Net. So let's say TNA Impact is on at 11 o'clock Thursday night. Okay?
hmm,
Awful time slot, but it's on at a standard time. Now, let's say the Chicago White Sox have a game that night. That game goes to extra innings. Baseball games don't start till 7:15. If it goes extra innings, you're looking at 10:30. Then
yeah,
you have the post-game show with post-game analysis. Then you run into that 11:30 hour. Well, then at the 11:30 hour, you're going to Impact, but you preempted it. You're not going to start it at 11:30. You just preempt it because you have White Sox Weekly Magazine that's on. You have Baseball Talk with the great Ozzie Guillen. You have paid programming that you got to air at a certain time to make sure you get ad revenue.
Right.
So it's really hard. So that's why it was an awful deal. Like in Cedar Rapids, it was supposed to air at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoons.
Oh boy, that's that's quite a time slot.
Yes, 3 o'clock Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Now it premiered in the summer. That's baseball. Chicago, Cubs and White Sox. Cubs play primarily day games.
Yeah.
And Chicago loves doing this. They love having the Cubs during the day, the White Sox at night. And then they flip flop them on Saturday. And then on Sunday, you get to choose because they both start at the same time. Do you want to go to the north side or the south side? How this applies to a pro wrestling fan is, once again, there's a rain delay, extra innings. TNA wrestling gets bumped, and they might bump it all together at that point because then you got to have White Sox pregame.
Yeah.
So it was a mess. It was a disaster. That led to them getting the Spike TV deal.
Yeah.
And that was good for them, but eventually Dixie Carter just ran that into the ground.
Right.
She alienated everyone at Spike TV.
Right. Right. Well, my point though was I just don't think it matters that if TNA fits in with the rest of what AMC has or not. I just don't think it matters.
I bring that up for one reason and one reason alone.
Yeah.
When a network identifies with your programming, they are more apt to want to work with it.
Sure. Sure.
And that's my problem with this. If AMC isn't committed, they're not going to put full faith into it.
Right. Well, it'll probably get better numbers than a lot of what they have now, right? I mean, AMC is, and again, Jenny and I cut the cord a long time ago, but I assume AMC is, I mean, what do they even run on there now? Like Hallmark movies and shit? Or is that, or am I thinking of A&E, the A&E? Am I confusing them?
You're thinking of the Hallmark channel.
Oh, that's right. There's a Hallmark channel.
AMC actually airs classic movies.
Okay. Yeah.
In their own programming. AMC has the Walking Dead franchise.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yes.
So they are doing really good with original programming.
Okay. Okay. Well, this will be original programming for them, so hopefully they make the commitment to it.
Here's the great thing about pro wrestling, and Eric Bischoff brings this up so much, and it's such an underutilized point. Pro wrestling for these networks, zero production cost.
Right. Right.
They just got to air it. It's free content.
Yeah.
I mean, not free. They're paying for it, but their cost is minimized by no production.
Yeah.
They just got to punch it up.
Right. Exactly. I guess where it can be a problem is if they're paying, because obviously, you know, they're paying rights fees. The networks are paying rights fees, and wrestling has always been one problem. And I've heard Bischoff talk about this too, is that they have a hard time finding mainstream sort of high end advertisers.
Yes.
And that can be a problem. So the network is paying out these rights fees and not, I mean, that's one of the reasons why
they're not generating the ad money on the back end to support it.
Yeah. I mean, allegedly that's why Fox was so content to just let SmackDown go somewhere else, because they weren't generating the ad dollars from what they were from the enormous amount of money they were paying for SmackDown on Friday night.
Also, with the Fox deal, Fox got gifted the Big Ten football.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, we can put this cash cow on Fox on Friday nights.
Yeah.
but their contract with WWE limited how many times they could move WWE to FS1.
Oh, I didn't know that. There was a limit on that. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense. So, yeah.
So they were just like, oh, well, we have college football, we have baseball. I see ya.
we should clarify that one thing too for people. Some people might not realize this. So SmackDown would occasionally on if Fox had something else to run that night, basically they would move SmackDown for that one night from Fox to FS1, which I've assumed stands for Fox Sports 1. And that's one of their cable sports channels. So they would advertise it as being on FS1 for that night. So they could do whatever they had to do on the main, Fox News network. But it does make sense that there would be a limit on how many times they could do that, because obviously that's I assume their numbers were significantly lower on the weeks that they aired on FS1 instead of on Fox.
I mean, FS1 does very good numbers wise. I'd be interested in seeing the numbers. I don't know if there was, because wrestling travels well.
It does, yeah.
So, I mean, if they're like, oh, SmackDown's going to be on FS1, you might lose people who, no offense, Matt, are cord cutters like you and Jenny, but
right.
you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose the diehards because they have cable.
Right. Yeah, but I know what you mean about wrestling travels well. The fans will find it. Whenever I think about that, though, I remember something very specific that at the time I thought was hilarious. Do you remember the last night when the first time when Monday Night Raw was leaving the USA Network? And oh no, I'm sorry. Well, it left the USA Network. It went to Spike TV. I think it was Spike, right? At the end of their run on their 5-year run. And they were going back to the USA Network. The last night that they were on Spike TV, the Jim Ross and whoever, I forget who was announcing with him. I think it was Jerry the King Lawler. And even Vince himself, when he came out to the ring to publicly thank Spike TV, they kept mentioning that beginning the following week, it was going to be back on the USA Network. And Spike was muting that whenever they would mention the USA Network. And then what was really funny about that was throughout the show, it got to the point where by the end of the show, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were going out of their way to be really obnoxious with it. And whoever was pushing that mute button at Spike gave up, because it like the last half hour of the show, it was like, Jim Ross is like, now, King, you remember we're going to be on the USA Network next week, right? And Lawler's like, that's right, JR, we are going to be on the USA Network. And Ross is like, oh, King, I can't wait to be back on the USA Network. They just got really obnoxious with it. And it was funny. I thought it was very funny. I don't think anyone at Spike TV or at Viacom thought it was very funny, but I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, there's a time to be petty, and I don't think that was the right time.
I think it was just because it was funny. I thought it was funny, but yeah, but I don't think Viacom thought it was funny. But anyway.
Oh, I'm sure Viacom did not.
No. Anything else to say about this deal?
It's going to be interesting to see, not only having TNA wrestling, but what supplementary programming does AMC offer with it? What's the lead in? What's the after? What comes after it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you don't have a strong lead in, you don't gain new viewers.
Right.
So if you're airing Jaws for the umpteenth millionth time, you're not going to have a lead in.
Right.
You're not going to have that lead in audience. So it's going to be very pivotal to see what happens.
Yes. Oh, and we should mention too that yes, it's no secret. Everyone is been openly saying that WWE did have something to do with it. I mean, I guess that's obvious anyway, but apparently not just the fact that TNA is getting this opportunity because of their close working association with WWE and getting the rub, as they say in the business, but also WWE, it sounds like, was directly involved in helping TNA with the negotiations, which is cool. You know, I mean, they have a working relationship, which I've enjoyed seeing, and I think it's excellent. So no, good for them. Good for them. I'm glad for them. That reminds me, we didn't talk about this, but we should mention, and this will be interesting. We can come back to it in the coming weeks, but while we're talking about TV deals, Netflix just bought Warner Brothers, which
that is going to be very interesting, because my understanding is that AEW's deal is pretty ironclad and has a very hefty penalty.
right, because AEW, for those who don't know, currently streams on it's on HBO Max, right?
Yes, but it airs on TNT.
Right.
And here's the kicker. Netflix did not buy TNT. TNT and TBS are not a part of this deal.
Right.
It's only Warner Brothers Discovery, which is HBO Max, which AEW streams on and hosts their pay-per-views on. So, yes, now the question is, what do they do with that?
Yeah, because now one company will own the streaming services that Monday Night Raw and Dynamite air on, respectively, two different services owned by the same company. So what happens now? That'll be very interesting.
It's gonna be a kicker, because here's they could do it. Does the Time Warner part of this whole group say, all right, we're just going to break away and do our own thing? Now, that would be TNT, TBS, True TV.
Time Warner once again playing a pivotal role in the landscape of wrestling.
They break away and start their own service and say, here's what we're going to do.
Right.
And now keep in mind that, TNT during the day airs reruns of some of Warner Brothers' top tier syndicated packages.
Yeah.
They carry Friends for 4 hours a day.
Oh God, do they really? 4 hours a day? My God.
Yep, 8 episodes.
Jeez. That's a lot of Friends.
That's a lot of Warner Brothers commitment.
Yeah, apparently, huh? Wow. Yeah, so this is a big deal. Very big deal. Be interesting to see this go forward.
If I'm Tony Khan, the first offer that's like 40% of my contract, I'm taking the money and going.
Really?
Yep. I'm taking the money and I'm going. And I'm reinvesting it. And, maybe I go. Maybe I gamble. Maybe I go to Fox.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like, hey, I got Wednesday Night Wrestling. Friday didn't work out the greatest for you. And I'm stupid. I'm just a stupid Mark fanboy. I don't care about ratings.
Is Fox going to want it?
I mean, again, we go back to one of my initial points. Free programming. You don't pay production costs.
No, but I mean, in terms of rights fees, though, are they going to be willing to really spend any money?
Well, are they? I mean, it depends on what AEW is offering them. I mean, if AEW comes in at like 30% of what the WWE deal is, Fox would be stupid to not consider it.
Yeah. Well, though, according to Tony Khan, did you see this on Ariel Helwani? He claimed that AEW is closing the gap. with WWE, which is just an insane thing to say with a straight face. You said
Yeah.
it. Hey, you
Closing the
said it.
gap like Donald Trump is closing the gap for racial equality.
That's right. Something very much like that. Yes. Yes.
Still wide.
Yeah. Well, should we get to the so the main event this week is John Cena, but we do have one more match in the undercard that relates to John Cena.
Yes.
Yes. So I covered this yesterday on Matt Connerton Unleashed, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it here. I even said during my show, I was like, this is cool because this is something that can be talked about on both shows. The lawsuit, John Cena now embroiled in a lawsuit, not just John Cena, but WWE, also a co-defendant in this lawsuit. So the owner of the copyright or the publishing for the horn section that you hear at the beginning of John Scofield's cover of The Night I always get the title wrong. The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. You know, and everybody knows that song, right? Vicki Lawrence had a big hit with it. That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia. Forgive me for singing. But John Scofield, of course, had the, I think it's under John Scofield and the Canadians. You know, he's got the whole horn section there doing an instrumental version. And it turns out, and I didn't know this until recently, I've learned a lot in the last couple of days about this. Turns out the horns that you hear at the beginning of The Time Is Now, that is sampled directly from John Scofield's cover of The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. And his daughter or granddaughter, I forget, Kim Schofield, because John Scofield apparently is dead. Kim Schofield is suing WWE and John Cena over this. Now, the interesting thing is, this has already been settled. This was settled back in 2015 for $50,000. WWE
really low.
Yeah, well, it's especially because, so here's the problem. So it was settled for 50 grand. Fine. Kim Schofield takes her 50 grand, goes away. All is well, right? Here's the problem. It turns out that right before, like 2 days before that lawsuit was settled, the song appeared in, I believe it was Toyota, a national ad campaign for Toyota. So now the song is being used in this national campaign ad. And Kim Schofield and her attorneys are alleging that at the time, WWE and their attorneys intentionally hid this. They made sure to keep this hidden because if Schofield knew that the song was about to be used in a national ad campaign for Toyota, that they would have asked for a much higher number. So that's part of why this is now come up again. And so they're dragging WWE back to the table. And then there's
it's going to cost a little bit more than 50,000.
I think so too. I think so. I think so as well.
I think you might add a few zeros to that bad boy.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm going to guess it's got to be that you would actually have to prove some, and this might be the wrong word, some malfeasance on the part of WWE here.
Yeah.
You would have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, and this is just me hypothesizing, that WWE purposefully hid this from them. And that's got to be very hard. Unless you have like emails and Vince McMahon is the dumbest supervillain to ever live. And he's like, ha, 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 hey, pal, we're hiding it from them.
Right.
You know, I mean, these just, this smells like a settlement. I don't.
By the way, I misspoke about one thing. It was 2017, not 2015 that the settlement happened. It was 2015 that Kim Schofield became aware of the song, became aware of The Time Is Now, and because she's not a wrestling fan, she had no idea. So she became aware of it in 2015. They settled in 2017, like literally 2 days before that ad campaign launched. So,
Yeah, but you're a music guy.
yeah,
So I'm asking you because I don't know.
yeah.
Isn't there like something in a settlement when you settle on usage of a song, what you can use the song for? Like, I
Yes,
remember that came up with the Doors at one point with the song Light My Fire. Like
yeah,
what you can use it for, what you cannot use it for.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would usually be a part of a settlement like this. Um, the
So
other thing
if
is,
it's a part of the settlement, I would hope it was a part of the discovery that like WWE would have to disclose that, hey, we're about to do this.
right.
I,
You would
I don't
think,
know. I'm actually I've kind of turned now knowing this. I think this Kim Schofield might have a case here
yeah, she might. She might.
because like I guess my primary question would be why did you wait 8 years?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
what's like what you think John Cena's worth more now that he's retiring, which he probably is,
Yeah.
to be accurate here. I mean, there's probably a larger chunk of the John Cena pie.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
Um,
Um,
yeah, so yeah, I don't even know how you would even begin to argue this.
there's also the other thing I learned, and we won't get into all of it because it's a lot to get into, but I had no idea that Schofield's lawsuit was not the only dispute over apparently there's a bunch of samples in this song, not just that one. There's a bunch of them. And like MOP, do you remember MOP? They sued. They were the first ones. They actually sued over an uncleared sample that they had that was used in the song. There's another sample in the song.
This was produced by a guy named Bumpy Knuckles. Like,
Yeah,
like this is the producer's job. Like,
yeah,
and it was released on a major label. This is not as if
Columbia. Yeah,
that like this was an independent release or like WWE launched a record label just to put out John Cena's CD.
right, right. Yeah, it's I mean, but they're gonna have to. They're probably gonna have to. I mean, TKO's got deep pockets.
I think TKO is going to be like, look, this coming out of your end, we ain't.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing I learned though is all this time, I thought the song was called My Time Is Now. I didn't realize until this happened that it's actually called The Time Is Now.
Yeah,
All this time I thought it was My
it's
Time
the
Is Now.
title track of the album.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
And,
You know, it's funny.
and Basic Thugonomics was always the better theme.
I agree. I like the way that one starts. Yeah, I always like that one better
Yeah,
too.
Basic Thugonomics was infinitely the better theme.
And you actually learn from it. You know, word life. It's thugonomics.
I mean, now Punk Life changed the game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. It did. It did. Uh well, so we do you have anything to add on this or should we get to the main event?
John Cena's probably just like, get me the hell out of this.
Yeah, I doubt he's
go
that.
make movies.
Yeah, I doubt he's that
I
doubt
don't
he's not worried about any of it.
Well, I mean, he's a writer, so he's gonna catch some of the brunt of this.
Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this is a blip on the radar for Cena. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, John Cena, of course, we now know. I'm curious to know how you feel about Gunther or Gunther being his final opponent.
I don't feel anything because we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how do you sit here and say, "Oh, this," I mean, I think it's a great choice. I
I
don't
do
have
too.
an issue with it. I think
Same.
this whole tournament thing was stupid because we knew what the end result was going to be.
Yeah. I'm not so sure that we knew that. Um, I don't know, but I like that it's Gunther. I will say this: I really like the match he had with LA Knight. I thought that was one of LA Knight's best matches. I thought they had a really good match. Of course, Gunther, I think, is one of those guys who could have a good match with a broomstick, as they say. I mean, he even carried Goldberg to. I thought that was one of Goldberg's best matches, and it was Goldberg's retirement match. So I think they'll. I think they'll have a great match. I think it's a good. I think it's a good way for Cena to go out. It'd be kind of cool, I suppose, if it were, if they had been able to get Edge back from AEW and do something there or something like that, where Cena's final opponent maybe was somehow more integral in Cena's history in WWE. But I think Gunther is a great choice because again, he's someone who will be able to carry Cena to a great final match, and I do look forward to seeing it.
I think it was a very logical choice because you want to choose someone that
Yeah,
has a name and
yeah,
isn't busy in a program with someone else.
right, right, yeah,
So I mean, I think it was a good call. You
yeah.
bring Gunther back and he's in the top storyline. The only thing I didn't like is you once again sacrificed LA Knight.
Yeah,
And I didn't like the whole thing of having him tap out.
Jenny said that too. I didn't mind, but Jenny didn't like that either when we were watching it.
I think you should have had him pass out because you're going to the well so many times with this guy that
Yeah.
at some point it's just going to be straight up apathy with him.
I liked the way Gunther kind of foreshadowed in that promo when he said, "Don't just watch me," he said, addressing Cena, "Don't just watch me beat LA Knight, watch how I beat him," which I thought was interesting. And I like that I like that he used the submission to beat him. But yeah, it would have been cool if LA Knight had passed out instead of tapping. I agree with you. I agree with you. You want to keep
Yeah,
them
it
strong.
just would have made more sense because then they were building up momentum for this guy again, and
I
it's
know.
like you just kill it by
Lucy with the football.
what was that?
Lucy with the football.
Yup, you're just uh,
Yeah.
frustrating.
He's the jobber to the stars. They've kind of got him
That
in that
you just
role.
get him to that line, and then you move the line or you drop him below the line.
I wonder if they take it if they kind of take him for granted to some extent because no matter how much they do that, he still gets a huge pop and the fans are still with him, but that's not going to last forever. And as
No,
I always say, he's what is he 42 now? You gotta do something meaningful with the guy before he's just before it's just too late. But yeah, I'm a big LA Knight fan, but yeah, so Cena versus Gunther at Saturday night's main event. That will be the big finale for John Cena. But no, I think again with Gunther in there, but Cena's been doing great work anyway. I loved his match with Randy Orton. I thought his match with
he
AJ Styles
really
was great.
has done like a lot of great matches. His
Yes,
match with Punk was really good. And
absolutely.
dare I say, I think it was the best one of their rivalry.
Yeah,
Um, I think this last run has been so good, and people just want to hate on it
I know.
because of the heel turn. But I think it's psychological. I think these people have been conditioned for so long to hate John Cena that he could go out and have like 5-star epics, Kenny Omega epics, and
Hmm.
people would be like, "Oh, it sucked."
Mm.
And it's unfair.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it goes back to the whole 5 moves of doom argument, which
Right.
is one of the stupidest fucking arguments you can have towards a pro wrestler.
Yeah. I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
everyone has their go-tos.
Yeah. And their closing sequence.
Bret Hart, the second rope elbow drop, the stomp in the gut with the leg split, the when he's a heel, the figure 4 on the ring post.
Mhm.
You know, everyone has their gimmicks.
Yeah, of course.
So
Of
you
course.
can't. I thought it was always unfair to say the 5 moves of doom.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, I've even said you've seen one Ric Flair match, you've seen them all.
Now you wanted to talk about kind of the history of John Cena, right?
Yeah,
Kind of a
I
part
mean,
one.
you know, just he was a kid that grew up in
Not far from here, West Newbury, Massachusetts, a
yes,
suburb of
West
Boston.
Newbury, Massachusetts. I
Mhm.
actually read an interesting fact about John Cena. He was born with his umbilical cord wrapped around his throat 3 times.
I did not know that.
Um, he also, he and I'm sure you knew this, he grew up with his brothers, and they would make cardboard wrestling belts and wrestle with for them.
Yes, yes.
And that's kind of how the love of wrestling started with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He went to Central Catholic High School in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He transferred to the private prep school, Cushing Academy, and then attended Springfield College, where he played football for the Division III school. He was a center. He graduated in 1999 with a degree in exercise physiology and kinesiology. He pursued a bodybuilding career and worked as a limousine driver. He also worked in the store area of Gold's Gym for $6 an hour.
Mm. Yeah.
Talk about rising from the bottom. Goodness.
Yeah. Well, but he clearly had the genetics to be successful in whatever athletic endeavor he was going to ultimately end up in, and we know where he what he ended up in, and sure enough, now we call him the greatest of all time, or at least
Right.
that's what they
I
call him.
mean, the first time I heard about John Cena was in one of the we've said it so many times, After Mags.
Mm-hmm. When he was the prototype.
Yeah, I heard about this guy in OVW, the prototype, in that famous 2000 to 2002 crop of talent,
Yes.
which Cena, Batista, Randy Orton,
Yep.
you know, you had some others too. Bryan Danielson was briefly a part of that group, very briefly. That's another story for another time. It's one of those, depending on who you talk to, what story you get.
Oh, okay.
If Bryan Danielson was Daniel Bryan was
Mhm.
ever a member of OVW.
Oh, interesting. We'll have to get into that sometime because this is something I don't know about.
It's actually very short and it has to deal with Shawn Michaels wrestling school
Oh,
and the idea of, was it considered a developmental or was it not, or what was the deal?
okay.
It was a mess. It's just a messy situation, and no one's ever explained it, and the people that could explain it refused to talk about it.
Interesting. Okay. No,
Yeah.
I'm very
Oh, I mean, the
curious.
one person who could explain it, Shawn Michaels, refuses to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he refuses to talk about a lot of things.
Yes, he does.
Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy, probably because he doesn't remember a lot of it,
Right. That's probably true.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So Cena was now who was running OVW at the time?
Danny Davis would have
Danny
been
Davis.
running OVW at that point in time.
Now, not the same. There's two Danny Davises. Was this the same Danny Davis who was the referee, who was part of the Hart Foundation in the 80s for a while?
Yes.
Okay, because I know there was another Danny Davis before him, an older Danny Davis, the Nightmare Danny Davis. That's not
Yes.
the same guy, I don't think. I believe there's two Danny Davis.
Actually, no, that is incorrect. OVW at that point in time, Jim Cornette bought a stake in OVW.
Okay.
In 1999, he took on the role of booker and show writer while appearing in a non camera commentator role. The first group of developmental talent included future stars such as John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Batista, and Shelton Benjamin.
Okay.
So Jim Cornette would have been in charge then.
Okay. So he obviously now has he gone on record as saying, that he saw Cena as a potential big star from the beginning? I've never really heard him say much about John Cena.
No, you haven't. And I don't think there's heat there, which for Corny is very weird because I don't know if Cornette worked with him all that much.
Yeah.
Because the timeline here is OVW held its final show at the original Davis Arena on August 21st, 2002. And so at that point in time, John Cena was already up.
Okay. I do know that Kenny Bolin, the Star Maker, claims to this day that Cena owes him money from when he was Cena's manager. Obviously, it's a work, but I think Kenny Bolin is hilarious. We've never talked about him, so I don't know how you feel about him, but but I guess Kenny Bolin was Cena's manager at the prototype.
Kenny Bolin is an individual that definitely knows how to blur the line between fact and fiction.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And the problem is that you sometimes never know.
Right, of course. Yeah. But yeah, so Cena wasn't. Now, how long was Cena in OVW? Do you know?
He joined in.
I feel like it wasn't very long before he got called up to the main roster, but I'm not sure about that.
Let me take a look here. He was there for 2 years. On October 10th, 2000, Cena made his unofficial WWF debut in a dark match on SmackDown as the Prototype. He signed a developmental contract in 2001 and was assigned to OVW, where he held the OVW Heavyweight Championship and the Southern Tag Team Championship with Rico Constantino.
Yes, Rico. Yep.
And he was called up to the main roster.
Okay.
So he was there for, I want to say, roughly a year, maybe a year and a half-ish.
Okay.
Which could be, one of those things where, they just saw him and they're like, strap a rocket to his ass.
Right.
He's got the look. He's serviceable in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I'd heard about him in the aftermags, and because this is when the dirt sheets and the aftermags really started reporting on developmental, because you had the guys that were going to be the future of pro wrestling. Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, John Cena, Batista. And so you were wanting to know when these guys were going to come up. And I think what happened with Cena is, Cena came up. I think Cena came up. I want to say Cena came up after Orton. And I think Orton, it was kind of a train wreck. He'd injured his shoulder and there were some issues. And so they're like, let's pump brakes. But I do know they brought Cena up and then they brought up Batista pretty quickly after.
I seem to remember I don't know, maybe I'm not remembering this correctly, but I thought Cena and Orton debuted on the main roster very close to each other, like almost maybe a week apart. I could be wrong, but that's how I remember it.
I mean, yeah.
Because it was the beginning of the ruthless aggression era, and they were trying to get a bunch of guys new faces. Ruthless aggression, of course, playing a big role in Cena's debut promo when he came out and challenged Kurt Angle, and Angle said, "What makes you think?" Or however he put it, "What makes you think you can come out and challenge me?" And Cena said, "Ruthless aggression," and smacked it.
Yes.
Yeah. And Randy Orton, I feel like Orton debuted right around that same time, either right before or right after, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it was obvious. I mean, it looked like initially they had big plans for Cena. They gave him a very strong debut, having him come out and challenge Angle and slap Kurt Angle, and then they had a match. And
Cena won, and Undertaker shook his hand backstage.
oh yeah, yep.
I mean, at that point, you were like, they're going to push the prototype, and then for some reason, he just fizzled out.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit for him to find what worked for him, and he did.
Right.
Word life.
Yep. Well, now of course there's the story behind that because Cena was floundering, and then Stephanie McMahon heard John Cena rapping and said, "Hey, you're actually really good at that. You should do that on television." And they tried it, and that was like the beginning of and of course Cena was a heel initially doing the word life gimmick, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked his work as a heel. I definitely became a fast fan of John Cena during that
think
period.
it really, really took off. But the problem is that when you have a heel here doing something that's very popular in society,
Yeah.
he isn't going to stay a heel.
Right.
No matter how much you want him to.
Right.
He would even wear teams like that Celtics jersey. As if he was a heel, then he's probably wearing it in New York or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cheap heat, but it didn't work. People loved it. And at that point, you're like, okay, what do we do with this guy? Let's turn him. And see, because it's easier to be a heel than it is a baby face. And so I think that's the first rite of passage as a pro wrestler is, can you make that turn, and can you grow larger than you were as a heel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he would come out and and at that time too, they were really kind of pushing the boundaries in terms of some of the things that he would say in his raps when he would come out and rap, and times have changed. I think some of those raps you probably couldn't do today.
No.
Some of them were not very PC.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he did smack Stephanie McMahon's backside.
Yes, although that was consensual. In a very strange segment. Stephanie McMahon.
I see the video of it, and I cringe to this day because like everyone, for me, everyone knew she was dating Triple H, and it was pretty serious.
Right.
And John Cena smacks her on the derriere.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
That's bad optics.
Yeah. Well, it was some pandering on Stephanie's part because Cena obviously was a babyface at that point. And yeah. So there were some strange moments, but there were a lot of really good moments too.
Yeah. And I think that when he became a babyface, I hated him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I hated the gimmick. I hated it.
Why, you just thought he was better as a heel when he was doing?
No, I hated the character.
Oh, you hated the character overall.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
gotcha.
hated, hated. Unless you were Eminem, you had no reason to act
Oh, okay.
in my estimation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing? This is the most annoying thing ever. And then I mean, I was like, yeah, the theme song's great, but I have to see him then. I don't want to see him.
Wow. Okay.
I was very, ugh,
Really? Okay.
because at that time I was very big into the indie scene. So anything that was cookie cutter that WWE was bringing out, I bashed. I hated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was team Ring of Honor and team uh yeah, team Ring of Honor the whole way.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'd always be like, AJ Styles could wrestle laps around these guys. Christopher Daniels could wrestle laps around these guys. Samoa Joe. Oh yeah, here comes another tight 15-minute Kurt Angle match. Yay. I would rip everything about WWE at that point because
Okay.
I could.
Yeah.
And there was like indie wrestling fans at that time had such a like superiority complex over
Yeah.
WWE fans.
Yeah.
We all did. We all were like, oh, you like Brock Lesnar. I'm a Samoa Joe fan. Have you seen Samoa Joe's match with Kenta Kobashi? No, you have not, because you did not buy the DVD. We're not on cable TV.
It reminds me of when I would have like, working at when I was managing a music store and having conversations with like super indie music snobs, and I'd tell them my favorite band was Kiss, and they would just look at me with disgust. That's what it reminds me of. But
That's exactly what it was.
yeah,
It was like we the best analogy I can give is we liked the Sex Pistols, but thought we were like following Led Zeppelin.
right.
We thought we were following the greatest musicians that ever lived
Yeah.
and the greatest in-ring artists that ever lived. We were not. We were obviously very blind to how ridiculous that sounds. I mean, they're in buildings holding 20,000 people. We're in rec centers with a Fire Marshal Max 2K. So,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the fuck are you thinking? But yeah, there was John Cena. I do believe that's where a lot of the backlash comes from. Is at that time, indie wrestling in WWE were really butting heads. That
Yeah.
because sports entertainment sucked, and John Cena was the poster boy for sports entertainment.
Well, also in a lot of the cities, even though John Cena was a babyface, there was resentment among some fans because that's where that whole started, where that whole thing started, where, you hear the higher pitched voices chanting, "Let's go Cena." And then you hear the deeper voices in the crowd answering with "Cena sucks." And I remember when he was main eventing against Triple H at WrestleMania, I forget which number, because I can never keep that straight.
I remember it exactly because I was in Chicago that weekend.
You were? Okay.
Yes, I was. It was WrestleMania 22.
Yeah. And I remember some of the episodes of Raw and SmackDown leading up to that, where Cena was, like one of them was Detroit. And I remember, because I remember Cena saying, well, apparently the fans like he's got an in-ring promo with Triple H, and they're booing the hell out of Cena and cheering Triple H, even though Triple H is the heel and Cena's the babyface. And Cena acknowledged it, and he said, I guess the fans in Detroit feel I still have a lot to prove, and they're right. I do have a lot to prove. So he would kind of try to embrace it in a way. But in cities like, because there are just certain cities, Detroit, Chicago, New York, obviously,
Brian
uh,
Danielson at the Ring of
Minneapolis.
Honor double shot that weekend. That was in Chicago Ridge.
Yeah.
A shot at John Cena's promo.
Oh, he did?
Said that. He's
Oh,
like,
really?
I'm not gonna pander to change your boos to applause
Ah,
like some other so-called champions.
yeah, yeah,
And you're like, and everyone started chanting, John Cena sucks.
yeah. Now, the other thing that's interesting though about that period to me, because a lot of people felt like they should have this is probably an unpopular opinion, because I remember a lot of people saying, well, they're booing the hell out of him. Maybe, maybe give it a little time, but they should probably turn him back to being a heel because the fans are really into booing him. I have always felt, and I sound like a contrarian saying this, I've always thought that they actually, as interesting as a John Cena heel run would have been back then, I thought they did the right thing by staying the course and keeping him a babyface, because to me, one of the things that kept John Cena interesting for all this time has been the fans' reaction and not knowing, okay, is this city going to be more pro or anti when he's wrestling this particular person? Who are the fans going to side with? The fact that the fans had this divided reaction to him, I thought made him by proxy more interesting as a character, and watching the way the character of John Cena would sort of have to navigate that. So I thought it was the right decision to not turn him heel, to keep him as a babyface, keep him as obviously a very polarizing babyface. Michael Cole at the time, by the way, this was a pet peeve of mine. Michael Cole would screw that up, because he would when the boos would come, Michael Cole would say, John Cena, the most controversial champion. And it's like, no. There's nothing controversial about him. He's polarizing. That used to bug me. I wish Michael Cole would say polarizing instead of controversial, but he was very polarizing.
No, you can't really go after Michael Cole for that.
Well, he was using the wrong word. It was the wrong word to use.
Well, no, Vince is pumping the words.
Oh, I know. I understand that. He's repeating what Vince is telling him. Vince was using the wrong word. Controversial was not the right word. Polarizing would have been the perfect word to use. I'm a stickler for that kind of thing.
I think the thought behind it, and I love what you're saying because it's right. Let's be grammatically correct, but you're trying to generate controversy.
Yeah, but
if you say this person's controversial, then you're making them controversial.
Yeah, but the problem is nobody in the audience buys it, because
no one sits there and is like, oh man, I wonder what John Cena's gonna say tonight.
He's so controversial.
Yeah, the king of controversy. Oh man, he's the pro wrestling version of Howard Stern. He's the shock jock of pro wrestling.
Yeah, it just didn't fit.
The rated R superstar.
Yeah, it just didn't fit. But he was polarizing, and I thought that was made him as a character more interesting. Again, it's an unpopular opinion, so I'm curious what you think about what I said.
I think that the polarizing came from people feeling like he was being forced on to the fans.
Yeah, just like with Roman Reigns for a long time.
Yeah, like we do not want this guy. But knowing what we know now, you have to sit there and be like, why wouldn't Vince McMahon knowing what we know now about Kurt Angle's drug addiction and his neck being messed up, Brock Lesnar's whatever the F Brock was complaining about, his malcontentness, Steve Austin walking out, The Rock going to part-time, Triple H really starting to wind down, Shawn, like, I'm going part-time. It was really those guys, it was really time to bring in the new crop, and John Cena was probably the most reliable of the group.
Yeah, that's a big part of that. I agree with you, because John Cena's a guy, you don't have to worry about John Cena, not being fit to get into the ring. because
Is
he's
he
drugged.
going to miss a show? Is he going to come late? Is he going to blow this appearance at the mall? Is he going to mess up kissing this baby? Is he, there's so many variables with those other guys
Right.
that you had that I don't know as fans we were fully privy to at that point. And if we were, I don't know if John Cena would have caught on like he did.
Mhm.
I do believe a lot of John Cena's fandom came from the older fans rallying against him. Because the kids are like, that's my guy then.
Yeah.
I'm watching pro wrestling with my dad. My dad's an asshole. He hates John Cena. I can piss off John Cena. I could piss off my dad just by rooting for John Cena.
Right.
And a little hokey psychology there, but it makes a lot of sense.
Does make sense.
And so I think everything John Cena was everything WWE needed at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He was a stabilizing force. Was he going to give you the epic matches? No. He was going to give you the same match every night, but you better believe it's the best damn match every night that John Cena could put on.
Right. Right. Absolutely. 100%.
So yeah, I think I was a part of that anti-Cena group. So it was very unfair for us to sit there and have so much hatred towards him when he really was the best option.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to him. Anyone that's like you're told, oh well, you're the best flipping option. We have to go with you. You could be like, okay, I'm a coast. John Cena didn't do that. John Cena did all the extra. He did the Make-A-Wish. He did the PR. He did the DVDs. He did the Kmart store appearances signing the figures.
Yeah, he holds the record, right, for Make-A-Wish?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Hogan did it one time, but then Cena surpassed it. Yeah.
Only if they were white, Matt.
Jesus. No. Hogan's rule was they just couldn't have interracial parents. How dare you?
Or be interracial. Okay, we're moving on. we're gonna
rest in peace, Hulkster.
Sure, why
not? Oh boy.
I mean,
anyway.
Yeah. But I think like when it finally came time to that WrestleMania, when you knew he was going to beat JBL,
mm-hmm.
you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think there was an acceptance of it.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to like it, but you knew this is where they were going. He was the next guy.
Yeah.
It was Hogan, Austin. Okay, Hogan, Brett Shawn, Austin. Now it's Cena.
Or if you're going to say Brett Shawn, you could also say Austin Rock.
Yeah. But it was going to be John Cena.
Yeah.
And I think they also had, looking back on it, we can appreciate it. They had a great backlog of guys he could go up against. You had where he could go up against Edge. You had Randy Orton. You had Batista. You had guys he could really go up against, and it could really work.
Yeah, absolutely. He also had the maturity, clearly, to not let it rattle him when they were booing him, and to even lean into it and embrace it. I'm thinking of a specific situation too, like where when they did ECW One Night Stand, and he had to. That's the one where Cena was against RVD, right? And they put the belt on RVD, and they had fans, those ECW fans, they were holding up signs like, if Cena wins, we riot. And, so Cena knew, he understood going into that, he was going to be the heel, regardless of whether he acted as a heel. He was going to be the heel, and RVD was going to be the babyface in terms of the fans. And he understood that and embraced it. And you know, that's the thing. It never got, he was never a problem.
No, I'm gonna. I'm glad you brought that up. I was actually gonna save that till next week,
Oh, okay.
but you brought it up, so we can talk about it.
Okay.
It threw him. You could tell it really threw him. When he came out and he got the booze, he was fine. But when he threw the shirt
Yeah.
and they threw it back,
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
you
Yes.
could see this look of fear on his face.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? But you know what? God bless him. He was able to pivot pretty quickly.
Oh,
Because it
yeah.
was pretty cringe because he threw that shirt out there 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the match, he was able to just pivot.
Oh,
that
yeah.
match could have totally fallen apart.
Yeah.
But John Cena didn't let that happen.
No, he's a pro. Yeah. I think he probably won a lot of I mean, you know, he was already well established by that point, but I think he probably won a lot of respect, additional respect from both the company and from fans, you know, I think.
That's when I warmed up to him personally.
Yeah.
Is like, damn. And
Yeah.
then the fact that he was able to save the company because that week or 10 days later, Rob Van Dam and Sabu get pulled over. And if it's not for him and Edge,
Mm-hmm.
man, because an unknown fact about that, Edge was set to have time off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Edge was set to take time off.
Yeah.
Like, so they were gearing up for this whole storyline that John Cena was calling for Edge to come out and come back and come out and come back, and Edge wasn't going to until the rematch with Rob Van Dam down the road. Then he was going to screw John Cena again.
Oh, okay.
And that was going to set up a big blow off at SummerSlam.
Okay.
But they didn't. They had to pivot. And kudos to the professionalism of John Cena and Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're not professional, Rob Van Dam could have royally effed up the company there.
Oh, yeah.
Because keep in mind, you know, we're about a year out from 2 years out, a year or two from one of the greatest, most horrendous acts in pro wrestling history.
Chris Benoit.
Yup. And I think that was the beginning of the end of ECW.
Oh, really?
WWECW.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think that was because that they had nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea was Chris Benoit was going to become champion.
Yeah.
And then you were going to do a feud with CM Punk and Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is you couldn't do that, obviously. Now, so you had to go with CM Punk and John Morrison, and they had no chemistry. And Punk's talked about that it wasn't Morrison's fault. It might have been his fault a little bit because he didn't respect Morrison, and Morrison didn't trust him. And I haven't heard Morrison talk about it too much. Punk's talked about it quite a bit, that it just didn't work.
Mm. So how far are we going with this part one?
I think we're at a good wrap-up point here with part one.
Okay. Okay, very good. So yeah.
I mean, John Cena has won his first championship at WrestleMania. He has thwarted JBL.
Yeah.
And, you know, that feud between those two was amazing.
Yes, yes.
It was so good. When John Cena did the whole bit with dumping the pitcher of water in JBL's cowboy hat and then put it on his head.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
absolutely.
really was an awesome job by WWE.
Mhm.
Pity, like, it really was establishment versus anti-establishment.
Mhm.
It was JBL holding on and John Cena, the up and comer,
Mhm.
speaking for the younger generation.
Mhm. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so next week for the main event, we'll do, kind of do the rest.
And it'll be the day after his last match.
Yeah, so that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Yep.
Yes.
Well, very good. Very good. So we can kind of put a pin in this one, and thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you,
Yeah.
Eric.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We truly do appreciate all of your support.
Yes, yes. Please subscribe to Tough Bumps on your podcast platform of choice. We appreciate that very much. And of course, if you're checking out the content on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And you can also hear my radio show, Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Time. I broadcast from WMNH 95.3 FM in Manchester, New Hampshire. But of course, you can stream the show live. Go to mattconnerton.com where you can find the stream and of course all everything that I'm up to and all that good stuff. And Eric, you should remind people about Pilcher's Point.
Yes, you can find me right. Well, hold on. I haven't figured out where to point yet. Right.
Yeah.
Pilcherspoint.com. You can find me on TikTok,
I-
Instagram, and Twitter. Pilcher's Point. All three have the same name now.
yes.
And
Good.
you can find me on Facebook, Eric Pilcher.
Yes. Oh, and look for us soon on an internet station out of Australia.
Yes, internet station out of Australia.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll have more details. Well, we might actually keep that one a secret though.
There are people that would want to know that information that would come after us.
Yeah, exactly. We
I
don't
mean,
want that.
I have heard this guy, he just calls himself the boss.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's Bruce Springsteen.
Uh-huh.
I think it's Bruce Springsteen that's trying to hire us, which is awesome. We
Yeah,
had that deal with Stephanie McMahon that fell through for whatever reason. I
I
don't know.
know.
I blame you for that, Matt.
Yeah, our VPN got us. I know. I messed that up.
Yeah, you messed that up somehow. I don't know.
Uh,
But this radio station has 20,000 to 40,000 listeners or up to 100,000 listeners. We don't know, damn it. These are numbers. True to roof ratings. I may not need any of you anymore.
that's right. That's right.
We might only need 2 people.
But it's very important that we keep it a secret where this is going to be.
Jennifer and Mr. J.
You know what's funny is if somebody does want to find out, really like if Tough Bumps were going to be on an Australian internet station, all they would have to do, which yes, we won't really have to tell our listeners. They'll be able to just Google Tough Bumps Australia Internet Radio, something like that. It'll come right up. It'll be easy to find.
Yeah. You know, you got to be a real special kind of moron to host an internet radio show or podcast and think you're going to keep your broadcaster secret. Like, yeah, I don't know if there's anyone that stupid out there.
There may be. I don't know.
If there is, goodness gracious, how dumb are they? Like, how stupid are you?
I know.
I mean, just if you don't understand that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in no one can be that dumb. I still have faith in the intellect of humanity.
Okay. Well,
Call me a hopeless optimistic person.
yeah.
I mean, I still have faith for our country.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be delusional.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
All right.
You might need to get checked.
Well, on that note, thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you, everyone. This has been episode 25 of Tough Bumps. We'll talk at you next week.